I was talking to a friend on a Sunday afternoon many years ago, and he asked me the following question. He said, we've been presented with an opportunity to sign on a brand to bring to the country. This brand probably dominates about 20 to 30% of the market share in the industry that we sell into. And I'm very excited about the opportunity, but I'm confused, and that's why I need to speak to you. You see, there's no getting around it. This brand is going to take up a lot more of my time. At least 10 to 12 hours a week, approximately. That's what I think at this current state. Working with the team that's going to have to be hired, training them, teaching them, mentoring them. And then at least 2 more additional overseas trips a year to meet with the brand owners, to see their new stock, to select the stock to bring into the country, which means about 2 to 3 weeks away from our family, more than what I'm doing already. And everybody that I'm speaking to says I'd be crazy to turn this opportunity down, but I'm stuck. Because I know the Gemara says that a person's livelihood is fixed for them from Rosh Hashanah until the following Yom Kippur. And I'm thinking to myself, what's the point of taking it on if what I'm earning already has been fixed? Why must I put myself through that? All those extra hours in the week, time away from the family, nothing's going to change. What should I do? Don't continue this year. Push pause and write down for yourself, what would you say to him? And once you've written down your answer, only then continue with the share. His question opened up an entire world for me. You see, I've been asked this question in different various forms over the years, many times. And I'd rattled off an answer that I thought I'd read in a book. But for the first time, I was being asked by somebody I really cared about, and it wasn't a theoretical question. This was a question that was going to affect his life. And I needed to know that my answer would be reliable. And he silenced me because I didn't know the answer. And I thought to myself, after all these years of studying these sources, how can I not know them in a way where the information is synthesized and actually accessible and usable for me? It set me on a journey to make the Torah that I was learning real, accessible, usable, and reliable in this area. Let's start by exploring the Gemara that he was quoting and understand that first. The Gemara is a Gemara in Beitza. It starts at the bottom of the Tesvav on the base. Tani Rab Tachlifa Achua de Rab Noi Chozo. Kol mezonoisav shel Adam ketzuvim loy mi Rosh Hashanah v'ad Yom Kippurin. All of a person's livelihood is fixed for him from Rosh Hashanah until the following Yom Kippur. Chutz, except me'hoitzah Shabbosos, what you spend on Shabbos, v'hoitzah Yomim Tovim, what you spend on Yom Tov, v'hoitzah Bonov l'Talmud Torah, and what you spend on educating your children in Torah learning. She'im piches, that in those 3 areas, if you spend less, poichtin loy, you're given less. Ve'im hoisif, and if he spends more, hoisifin loy, they give him more. And the Gemara goes on to prove from sources in the Torah this principle. So there it is in black and white. He's 100% right. Your livelihood is fixed for you from Rosh Hashanah until the following Yom Kippur. What's the point in taking on the extra brand? Let's learn Rashi. Rashi is going to tell us what was the purpose of this Gemara. Why was it taught? And he says as follows: Kol mazonoisav shel Adam, kol ma she'atid listaker b'shana, everything that you're going to earn in the year, she'yeh nizon misham, that you're going to sustain yourself from it, kotzuv loy, it's fixed for you, kach v'kach yistaker b'shana zu, such and such amount you will earn in the upcoming year. V'yesh lo lizar, and therefore the person needs to be very careful not to work too hard or take on extra responsibilities, because it's not going to make any difference. Unfortunately, Rashi doesn't say that. Rashi says you need to be careful as a result of this Gemara with something completely different. He says, V'yesh lo lizar milasos yitzia meruba. You should be careful not to spend excessively. They will not add on for you any money that you need to sustain yourself over and above what was allocated for your Rosh Hashanah. Says Rashi, the purpose of this Gemara is to tell you that what's fixed for you to live off on Rosh Hashanah to the following Yom Kippur is fixed. And therefore spend carefully. Because if you spend it by the time Shavuos comes, they will not give you any more. Spend carefully. That's the practical takeaway from this Gemara. Now, how did Rashi know that? How did he know that the practical takeaway was not, therefore, don't work so hard because your livelihood's fixed for you? Very simple, I think. It's the whole context of that Gemara. The Gemara says that all your livelihood is fixed for you from Rosh Hashanah until Yom Kippur, except for three things: what you spend on Shabbos, what you spend on Yom Tov, and what you spend on educating your children in Torah. There, if you spend less, you get less. If you spend more, you get more. As opposed to everything else, whether you spend less or you spend more, the amount's fixed for you from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. It's clear that that's the context of the Gemara. And this Gemara has nothing to do with the question of how hard a person should work to earn their livelihood. Should you take on the brand? Should you not take on the brand? The extra hours that are required, the extra overseas trips. This Gemara has nothing to do with it. As an aside, it's important to know that the place where we moan about money the most, school fees for our children, how much the Shabbos meals cost, our wife and children's clothing for Yom Tov, it's in that very place where Hashem says, don't worry about it. There, I'll take care of everything. The more you spend and invest in the mitzvah, the more I'll give you for it. And the less you spend, the less I'll give you for it. So don't let that be our area of concern and expenditure. Everything else, be careful. It's healthy and good to be careful about what you spend. That's what this Gemara is teaching us. I would like to explore together with you in the upcoming Shurim, what are the sources in the Gemara that we need to draw on in order to make this decision? How much is enough effort? How do we balance effort with what is predestined for us? One thing's for sure, this Gemara is not the place to look. I look forward to journeying together in exploring this truly fundamental question in the life of a Ben Torah in the workplace.